Press the bell icon on YouTube and don't miss another update.
The Income Tax Department has sent notices to entrepreneur and former banker Novel Lavasa, allegedly over discrepancies in filing of income tax returns. Now, Novel Lavasa happens to be the wife of Election Commissioner Ashok Lavasa, who also was in the news recently before the Lok Sabha elections of 2019. What are these notices about? What is this case? That's what we're going to look at in Government Matters today with me, Ruhi Tiwari. In the studio with me today, I have Sania Dhingra, who covers the Election Commission very closely. Sania, to begin with, what are these notices that have been sent to Novel Lavasa? What is the case about?
So Novel Lavasa, as you mentioned, the wife of Election Commissioner Ashok Lavasa, is an entrepreneur. She was a former banker with the State Bank of India for over 2 decades before she resigned and became an entrepreneur. She happens to be on the board of over a dozen companies, and the Income Tax Department last month sent her a notice for alleged discrepancies in some of her income tax returns. So that is what we know about the case so far.
Right, and has she responded to the notices?
Yes, in fact, day before yesterday, she issued a press statement in which she said that, I have filed on all my income tax returns and I will be responding to the notice sent by the IT department as well. She did not go much into what the notice was about, of course, but she said that I'm very clear as far as the income tax returns are concerned.
Right. Now, Sania, as we mentioned earlier, Novel Lavasa happens to be Ashok Lavasa's wife, who's the election commissioner, and he was in news earlier this year in May for which became quite a bit of controversy. Can we talk a little bit about why he was in news, what that entire controversy was about?
Yeah, I think the reason why this case is getting so much of media attention is because she is Mr. Lavasa's wife, and Mr. Lavasa just 2-3 months ago was in the news for being the sole dissenter as far as what was seen as friendly decisions regarding the Model Code of Conduct violation by Prime Minister Modi and then BJP President Amit Shah were concerned. So while it was seen that the Election Commission was sort of giving them a clean chit in decision after decision, Mr. Ashok Lavasa had a different point of view, and he thought, for example, that Prime Minister Modi had violated the Model Code of Conduct when, say, he invoked the Balakot strikes in his election rallies, and or when he said that when he talked about Wayanad being specifically chosen by Rahul Gandhi
because of the minority.
So he was of the view that these do qualify as violations
so
of
in how many cases did he dissent? Because from what I can remember, there were multiple such instances when he did dissent on.
So there were 5 cases of Model Code violations against the PM that he dissented in, and there were also cases against BJP President Amit Shah that he dissented in. And his problem, see, it's as far as the Election Commission is concerned, it is settled that the majority opinion of the commission would be actually taken.
So of the 3 people, 2 have to agree to a certain stand.
Correct. But I think what he took exception to was that his views were not even being recorded. Right. So he said that at least record my point of view and my explanation for why I believe that they have violated the Model Code of Conduct. And then, of course, he went on to write a letter to the Chief Election Commissioner saying that, my presence in these meetings has been rendered meaningless and so on. And he also stopped attending these meetings at some point. So this became a big issue. And now that his wife has got this notice,
that's why it's blown up further.
Correct.
Right. So now to talk about Mr. Lavasa's, was he someone who was going to go on to become the Chief Election Commissioner? Is that in terms of seniority hierarchy? Is he someone who's likely to go on to become the CEC?
Unlikely now is what people say, but he is in line to become the Chief Election Commissioner because Chief Election Commissioner Sunil Arora retires in 2021, and as seniority and hierarchy goes in the Election Commission, the second in line is Mr. Ashok Lavasa. But people close to him now say that it seems unlikely that he would end up becoming the chief given all these controversies.
Would the case against his wife also be a hindrance? Possibly?
It very well could be, but it's in the realm of speculation
right.
at the moment.
So not to attribute any motives either way, or not to sort of link various cases as far as this is concerned, but Mr. Ashok Lavasa's daughter Avni Lavasa was also in news. She's an IAS officer and was also in news recently for complaints against the BJP. Can you explain what happened there?
So, as you said, Avni Lavasa is also an IAS officer of the 2012 or 13 batch, I'm not very sure, but she belongs to the Jammu and Kashmir cadre, and she has been posted in Leh as the district commissioner. So, she also around the same time made news for actually asking the police in Leh to register an FIR against BJP leaders in the state for allegedly handing over money to reporters in the state to sort of publish news that was seen favorable to the BJP. So, this news actually broke at the same time as when Mr. Lavasa was sort of in dissenting. So, not to again attribute any motives, but both Mr. Ashok Lavasa and Ms. Avni Lavasa, they were seen as, taking stands that could be seen as unpalatable to the BJP during the elections.
Right. Now, the entire Lavasa family clearly seems to have been in the midst of a lot of controversy and news this year. But can you tell us if this has happened before, the sitting election commissioner's wife receiving notices from departments like the income tax or any other such departments? Is this the first of its kind case?
It is a first of its kind case. It's absolutely unprecedented, as was Mr. Lavasa's dissent quite unprecedented. For an election commissioner to, during the Lok Sabha elections, go on almost, and he in fact did give some interviews as well, so he did go public with his reservation, so that was unprecedented. And this is also unprecedented because we've not had an election commissioner's family be in the midst of so much controversy before. And it is also curious that Mr. Lavasa was appointed the election commissioner by the same government.
Right.
So his troubles with the government really began only after the Lok Sabha elections, because he was before that also the finance secretary in the Modi government. Right. So he was given a very important portfolio.
He was made finance secretary by the Modi government.
By the Modi government, and he's known as someone who's worked across with governments across party lines, and he's known to be a very low profile sort of an IAS officer. Right.
And he's worked across ministries.
He's worked across ministries. He's also worked as the secretary of the Power Ministry, and the reason why why his wife's being on the board of a few companies has become a matter of controversy is also because some of these, at least 4 of these companies, are power companies. So, and they say that she became a board member on these companies after he became power secretary.
Right.
So that was seen as some kind of conflict of interest. Right. Also.
Right.
So, but yeah, before this, the family was not in the midst of so much trouble or news. Right. In that sense.
Right. Well, that was Sania explaining what the case against Novel Lavasa, who happens to be election commissioner Ashok Lavasa's wife, is, and really what has been the history of Mr. Ashok Lavasa as a bureaucrat and as an election commissioner. Do log on to ThePrint.in to read her stories on the issue, and also subscribe to her YouTube channel. Thank you for watching Government Matters.